What's up, everyone? Welcome to Pat's Chat. I'm Doug Kyed, joined as always by Michael Hurley. We are a proud member of the CLNS Media Network, so make sure to subscribe to all of the great CLNS podcasts, including this one, Pat's Chat, on YouTube, on your podcast apps, wherever you got podcasts. This is like a free podcast for everyone. It's an early midweek podcast.
Mm.
So if you appreciate our efforts here, go to Apple Podcasts, give a star rating, preferably 5 stars, even more if you can give it, plus a little review. And that'll help us grow the pod. But Michael,
Yes.
how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I have a renewed sense of respect and appreciation for football players. I just want
Oh,
to
I
share
thought
that
you were going
off
to
the
say
top.
media members.
I wasn't. I got an injury,
Uh-oh.
like a lot of people listening might have, and it was from snow removal. And I'm
Oh.
thinking, like, is this what 40 is? Is this what 40 is going to be? Just like
Mm.
injury. Like I feel like I took a face mask to like the back of my rib cage. Like I can't take a deep breath in. I can't lift my arm up. It's like, what did you do? It's like, I don't know. Shoveled, snowblow. Just that's what life is like. And I bet a lot of people, a lot of injuries out there. So I hope everyone is recuperating from this snowmageddon.
I have a wood desk. I'm going to knock on it, and I'm just going to say I shoveled last night very late. No major injuries so far. Hopefully, when I go back out there in a couple hours, that'll remain the same. But that's a really great segue
Mm.
because
Injury talk?
injury talk, Drake May injury talk.
Well,
Pro Football Doc David Chow stated his opinion that Drake May suffered a right shoulder injury against the Broncos on a hit from Hufanga. It was a 13-yard scramble.
he did
If you
get
do
wrecked
watch
on
the,
that play.
what was that?
He did get wrecked on that play.
Yeah,
It
if you
stood out.
watch the replay, he kind of lands with his arm. He lands at an awkward angle for his right arm. So you can certainly understand why you would think that there would be some sort of shoulder injury. Beyond that, David Chow was analyzing some press conferences, being told that he was only texting with his left hand.
Oh, don't forget the
Um,
wince when his wife touched his shoulder pads.
yeah, after the game,
Great and
uh,
Michael May
and Michael
is
May
so powerful.
hit him on the shoulder pads, and then there was like a beat and then a wince.
Yeah.
That is it a shoulder? Was it a gust of wind?
Many are
Who?
saying he was actually bawling his eyes out, screaming, "Oh, my shoulder. Oh, my shoulder." And Michael May, how could you have done this to me? So just a
Uh,
side plot for you.
but Mike Vrabel was asked this morning on WEI, kind of in a roundabout way about it, and he said no one's 100% right now. And then he was asked a question to lead off his press conference whether his comments were blown out of proportion, and he said yes. And then
No.
a question or two later, I was like, wait, I don't think anyone has asked you directly. Did Drake May hurt his shoulder? And he said that no one got hurt in the game. But I don't know. I mean, it's entirely possible that Drake May hurt his shoulder against the Broncos.
Mhm.
Vrabel's been even his answer to me. So he said, no, I won't say anybody hurt anything. But then he kind of reiterated this morning the comments about no one being 100%. I don't know. Would I be shocked if there was like some sort of soreness after that hit? Absolutely not.
Sure. I was thinking I
Then
might.
that's not me like coming from a place of knowledge on that. Like watching the hit, would I be surprised if his
Yeah.
shoulder is sore? No.
Yeah, no, it stood out. He got wrecked. It was
Yeah.
like a late dive instead of a slide.
Right.
He wanted to make sure he got the first down and absorb the hit that comes with that. I actually was thinking I might head to the store
That's
today.
dangerous.
I might head to the store and buy a white coat, and then I might sit in this seat and I might say, Jackson Smith and Jigba suffered a butt injury during the NFC Championship game. If you watch here, you can see he injured his butt. It's a grade 2 butt strain, and he'll probably be okay. I don't have this locked down, but I was looking and I saw a butt injury and just try to get some engagement. It felt out of left field.
Yeah.
We won't have an injury report until next week.
I think there might be a
Oh, really?
projected one at some point at the end of this week or something.
Okay.
I think that might have been the way that it worked last year.
Well, either way, you're right. he took a hit and probably hurt, but it felt like a great way to get some engagement ahead of Super Bowl week. Like there's a lot of clicks and retweets to be had these days.
Greatest. I mean, yeah, I wrote about it, and Mike Reese wrote about that hit, I think last night. I think that he was the one who asked Drake how he was feeling after the game. Drake said that he had, bumps and bruises, but like, do we think that Drake May's not going to play in the Super Bowl? No, I don't think that we're going to be seeing Josh Dobbs pulling a Jarrett Stidham. I don't think all the Patriots fans are going to have Josh Dobbs avatars this week heading into Super Bowl 60 against the Seahawks. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Drake's going to gut this one out. It's a must-win game.
Win or go home. And well, they're going home after anyway, actually, technically. Win or go to Disney.
Go home.
Maybe go to Disneyland if you're the MVP.
Yep.
Do they do land if they're on the West Coast?
They do land if they're on the West Coast. They do world if they're on the West Coast.
Because God, imagine flying San Francisco to Orlando after this. I'd be like, nah.
This is so stupid. I'm glad you mentioned this. Listen, I'm a Disneyland and Disney World guy.
Not an adult, a guy.
Part of me feels a little bit bad for the guys who do it.
I know.
Because it's like it's a once in a lifetime thing where like, hey, you're the guy who got to say, I'm going to Disneyland or whatever. And then you have a big parade and it's like this big day or whatever. But like all of your friends are hanging out together and celebrating the Super Bowl together. And you're just like kind of there, maybe with one other person.
Yeah.
If not, then you're just like hanging out with some like PR people. It feels so stupid, but like there is part of me that's always like, they probably have like a little bit of FOMO right now.
Absolutely. Especially if you're like not the quarterback, like, in your separate own CEO enterprise. If you're like, I don't know, Cooper Kupp, I bet he wanted to, well, was that COVID time? I don't know, whatever.
Well, like Julian Edelman did it.
Yeah. My thing was, well, he probably loved it. My thing was, I never went to Disney World growing up, so I didn't really know, but like, there's so many people at Disney World. Your parade, like there's parades all the time. There's parades every 2 hours and they come by and people stop and watch. It's not like everyone's like, oh, the Super Bowl MVP's here. There's people there getting to ride Pirates of the Caribbean and then they're walking out and then like the Super Bowl MVP.
Is that Jalen Hurts?
They're like, where's Tigger? What? I don't care about that guy. So not exactly the parade in the sense that we might know it as.
It's true. No, absolutely.
That wasn't on the agenda. Super Bowl parades at Disney World. This is what makes the Pats Chat the Pats Chat.
It's true. And I mean, if the Super Bowl was in LA this year, I might try to, get the Herald to expense me a trip to Disneyland if the Patriots win
That's a good point.
Get an exclusive with the Super Bowl MVP. But I think the Super Bowl is in LA next year. So it gives me an idea.
Little store that one away.
Store that one away. No one can steal it.
The Drake May injury, he also, quote unquote injury, whatever it may be. He also finished the game. He also called his own number with a naked bootleg where he had to fend off a defender and then went nuts celebrating. I think he's going to be fine. I would say like his passing was bad before the injury. So if if people are looking at the stats and trying to figure out like, why was he so bad? Oh, was he hurt? If he was hurt, then he came into the game hurt because his passes were as inaccurate as we've seen them in his career.
Yeah, really interesting. And maybe we're gonna give some leftover thoughts. Mm-hmm. Is that a good place to start? Just the Drake May performance overall this in the playoffs?
If that's one of your, so Doug and I have leftover thoughts and we're going to go back and forth. Like we're going to pretend, ready?
Yeah.
That we've got the car on, like this is CNN. So you headline this one with what you're going to say.
Yeah. Give yours first. Give your first one first.
Well, it's sort of not Drake May related, but we can go there anyway.
I'm going to go to Drake May second. So,
okay.
Yeah, give yours first.
We talked after the game, and I said my halftime thoughts, and then I was like, oh, but then the second half and the wind and the crazy weather kind of changed everything. Rewatching the game, the third quarter, up until the end of the third quarter, was still very much normal. Right. So the way they came out at halftime, like, thank God for their sake that they scored when they did, because they basically, the game ended with 4 minutes left in the third quarter. It became impossible to play offense. But so the first drive out of the second half, like, I think there is something to take away from that because it wasn't in the elements. It was literally just pounding the football over and over again. It was a big Drake May scramble. It was a lot of Ramondre Stevenson, a dash of Travion Henderson, and they just pounded it. and they got down there. Probably their biggest weakness on offense this year, red zone scoring. The designed run, the QB draw was a nice play, worked perfectly. So I just think that drive it was the only real scoring drive of the entire game for the Patriots. And if they didn't do it, they would have gotten shut out. Or they probably would have gotten shut out. I just think it was on rewatch, just like, that whole third quarter was more even playing field, normal football than I maybe thought in the immediate aftermath.
Yeah, and it made me laugh a little bit. A couple of things that came out in the media. First of which was Vic Lombardi. He's a Broncos media personality or a Denver media member. I think he does like a radio show or something like that. He was doing a stand-up after the game where he was like, yeah, and then in the third quarter, Patriots drove down the field and scored, and then there was nothing the Broncos could do about. Like, he was like, they held the ball for 13 minutes, and there was nothing the Broncos could do about it because of the weather. Like, well, that's not true. Like, the Broncos could have done the same thing afterwards. Like, it wasn't the weather didn't affect the Broncos' ability to do the same thing. And Mike Florio said something similar. He wrote something yesterday to be like, game should be played indoors in the AFC in the championship rounds.
The Broncos had one third quarter possession. They went 6 yards on 3 plays and punted.
Right, and
the weather was fine.
The Patriots had 2 long drives in the third quarter. They had a 61-yard drive and then a 50-yard drive. And Florio wrote basically like the weather precluded either team from scoring after the Patriots took the lead. It's like, no, that's not true. They had a drive in between where they did absolutely nothing. Yeah. So was it the snow that prevented that, or was it the Patriots defense? I'm going to say it's the Patriots defense because the Patriots offense was still able to move down the field twice. They had the made field goal and then the missed field goal. And obviously the missed field goal, they didn't get as far down, but they got in field goal position. And also the Broncos missed a field goal as well. That was only after what, like a 17-yard drive, maybe?
I can get you right here. That was after. The NFL Jesus has the colors for each team, and they're both navy blue. So forgive me.
Great.
That drive, the missed field goal, was that in the
fourth
quarter?
5-yard drive.
4 play 5 yards. It should have been 6 yards, but Jared Stidham took a 1-yard sack before the kick, and the kick did barely miss. I wonder, like, it probably wouldn't have mattered, but just another backup mistake.
Well, also Lutz said that they that was the blocked field goal, right? Yeah.
I was thinking of the one before halftime. I was thinking of one before halftime. You're thinking
one before halftime. Yes, that was a 15-yard drive. Yeah.
You're thinking of the blocked one.
I was thinking because
Lutz said that they might have been a yard closer, and I think he was. I saw Phil Perry put a screen.
Right. Yeah.
Phil said that earlier they were doing 8 yards, and that one looked closer to 7. And I mean, it's hard to tell. I think it looked more like 6.
Yeah,
if you really look at it,
it was pretty shallow. Yeah.
So it explains how a ball can get blocked on that ball was on the 28. So not exactly a long kick. Should be able to get plenty of height under that one.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, okay, this game is going into overtime, and it was frightening for me personally because we had a very early deadline because of the snowstorm in Boston. So if that game had gotten into overtime, we might not have been able to get that gamer into the paper, but my heroic efforts still got it in there. Leonard Taylor III's heroic efforts still got it in there. But I don't know. I'm maybe I should just start like doing like a side job as a media critic, because I find the media's reaction to things funny in some ways, silly, frustrating. I don't know what you want to call it, but I'm fascinated by it at all times.
In terms of like how they responded to the weather and the outcome, well,
just like how they like it. I know that maybe this is just me being like biased in a Boston way, but it just feels like there's always like some sort of excuse for why the Patriots or why I don't know. It feels weird that all of a sudden everyone's like, we cannot play football games in snow. Well, it's like, well, that's part of becoming the number 1 seed in the conference is that you get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So the snow was supposed to benefit the Broncos because they were playing their home stadium. And I don't know, people were whining and complaining that it wasn't an entertaining game. It's just like, I'm sorry, like not every game in the world is going to be like your particular taste of football.
Right.
And if it's not, you're just going to live. There's going to be another season next year. And actually there was another game right after it, and there's another game in 2 weeks. And maybe those will be the perfect brand of football that you get to watch.
Go off, King. That's what they say. But it's similar. It's not completely dissimilar. Remember when the Patriots beat the Chiefs in the playoffs in 18?
Yeah.
They scored a touchdown in the opening drive of overtime, thus ending the game. And everyone was, the Chiefs put in, this was before the Bills put in, the Chiefs put in, like, change the rules. Both teams get the ball.
Yeah.
And it's like, there were 3 3rd and 10s in that overtime. Twice, you played off coverage against Julian Edelman, who ran just the most simple, dig or whatever it was, whatever you want to call that route, where it's just, he was wide open. He got inside leverage and was wide open over the middle of the field twice. The third time, you have Rob Gronkowski in man coverage against, I think it was Eric Berry, who's up to Rob Gronkowski's nipples. So Tom Brady threw a pass up high and he caught it. And then what happened after that? You ran up the gut twice, and Rex Burkhead all of a sudden was Gale Sayers and couldn't be stopped. And it's like, I don't know. I look at football as a team game, and your defense absolutely beefed it, and now you don't get to play in the Super Bowl. Obviously, they have since changed the rules. Mm-hmm. But you're right. But I don't know. That's sort of the state of things these days. There's not like a the role of the media, I guess. I don't know. It's a weird thing to talk about. Is less to be this sort of like objective, neutral, this is the way things are, and is more like jump on different reactionary things of trends and emotions and try
I'm
to say something.
I'm probably just as guilty of it as anyone else. So
I guess so. Whatever.
I don't know.
Your time, your time for point number 2. That was a big one. We went everywhere there.
Yeah, no, I think that's good.
I had some shorter ones.
So Drake May's performance overall in the playoffs, but specifically this game. It's interesting being someone who has watched every throw of Drake May's season probably multiple times.
Career.
And then career, yes. And then being told by people who have watched 3 playoff games that actually Drake May sucks. Mm-hmm. And it's a really weird place to be in, because like Drake May doesn't suck. Drake May was an MVP candidate this season. And now you have people being like, Drake May is actually terrible. But it's a weird place to be in, because Drake May has not thrown the ball well overall this playoff run. He had good halves against the Chargers and Texans. He was not granted the ability to have a good half against the Broncos because of the weather. But
just to add, so we don't counter, what's the word? Be hypocritical. What's the word when you say something that means the opposite of a point you just made? There's a word there, very basic one that I'm not thinking of. He didn't throw much during that drive because they ran the crap out of the ball when the weather was still normal in the second half. Carry on.
So, part of me is, you feel like you're taking crazy pills, because obviously Drake May's good, but he hasn't played well. And it's just a really weird place to be in. But I'm trying not to make excuses for him. Mm-hmm. But I do think his issues have largely been the defenses he's facing, the weather conditions in 2 of the games, while also acknowledging that his accuracy has not been what it was during the regular season. Yeah. And that's obviously something. He figured out the turnovers against the Broncos, which was huge. They wouldn't have won with some turnovers. But next, they got to figure out what's going wrong with his accuracy, because he is spraying balls a little bit.
Yeah, I would say a couple, if you want to go 2 different patterns here, I do see early in that game, there were a couple in cuts to Booty where he skipped him in.
Right.
Bad passes. There was the throw in the flat. It was 3rd and 15. Didn't matter. He threw in the flat to Stevenson. Just awful pass. There's probably another one in there. But the accuracy, I don't like the throws to Booty when Surtain was living inside his jersey. Right. Those were don't get picked off, give your guy a chance type throws. Those aren't really the inaccurate ones. But there was some, and that's where you think this is a guy who's going to be the quarterback of a cold weather team.
Yeah.
For the next 10 years, you'd hope, if you're the Patriots at least. Is it hand size? Is it reps? Mm-hmm. Is it all that? It does take an adjustment. Like, for as much as, the legend of Tom Brady, how were his passing numbers in the Snow Bowl against Oakland? Probably not
better than this, but still, yeah.
And then I think the flip side of it is you mentioned the defenses, right? And I saw this tweet. This one's from NFL Research. Drake May is the first quarterback to win 3 playoff games against top 5 total defenses in a single season. The Chargers were 5th. The Texans were 1st. The Broncos are 2nd. So, like, again, you're not making an excuse, but that is a significant factor. You can't just be like, oh, yeah, but you still got to be great. Well, no, not really. I mean, like, he was sacked 5 times in each game.
You just got to survive. It's the playoffs. And, like, the biggest thing is, do Drake May and Mike Vrabel and the rest of the Patriots care if Drake May looked good in these games, or do they care if the Patriots advanced and won?
Sure.
And they care about if he advanced and won. And
Well,
I think I saw Matt Doloff tweet something yesterday about how, like, fans' brains are kind of broken by football right now, where it's now weirdly more about, like, individual performance than just overall team success. And, like, wins
fantasy,
are not right,
prop bets, all that.
And it's like, okay, I don't know, it's all just so individually focused, and I don't know. It is what it is.
Can I add this to the pile?
Yeah.
A young quarterback facing a ton of pressure, this time in a road environment. Earlier, obviously, his first playoff game against the Chargers. It's not at all uncommon for a quarterback in that situation who has great legs to just tuck it and run. And that's one thing he's done exceptionally well this postseason. They probably don't win in Denver if he doesn't run that well. He ran for 66 yards against the Chargers. It's sort of a safety valve, and you want, as a quarterback advances in his career, to rely on that less and less.
But he has like 160 rushing yards this playoff run.
Yeah, and that does count, and it helps you win the football game. So I think it's a worthy conversation. I do think you're right. The people that are like, who the hell's Drake May? Why is he an MVP candidate? It looks like he sucks. Are just being bozos.
Yeah, I think that's fair. What's your next takeaway?
All right, next takeaway. I'm just going in order of what I got. All right, I got to go back up. Milton Williams was outstanding. I went back watching the game, and I just couldn't stop watching Milton Williams. All the different ways he got in, whether it was bull rush, whether it was a swim move, whether it was a speed rush, he was in the backfield a ton. And he stood out the most. But I mean, Barmore had a number of plays that stood out. Corey Durden had that first one, I think it was the first drive. Even like Anthony Jennings sets a very firm edge, which helps. We're talking about the run defense.
Jennings is an elite run defender.
He is so good at and apparently this isn't the role they wanted on the team, but it just sort of worked out for him. The way that he can sort of adjust his body, plant his feet, you can't move him. And you see a lot of runs then get funneled back inside the tackle, and there's a ton of people there waiting for him. So I just think, and even Marcus Jones, who we've said many times, very small person, the way he comes in and runs support, I just think if the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl, Drake May, all that, that defensive line, I think is going to be the playoff MVP because of how you obviously have 2 stars in Milton Williams and Christian Barmore, but literally everybody is contributing in a way that allows you to just suffocate offenses.
It's really crazy because I remember thinking in probably like August or whatever, man, like that defensive line, if Williams or if Barmore gets hurt, like they might be in some serious trouble. But then Tonga stepped up.
I forgot to mention Tonga. He was also great.
Tonga obviously stepped up over the summer. So I was like, okay, at least if you got a third guy. And then heading into the season, they're coming out of training camp, they had Farmer, they had Gregory, and they had Farms. And it's just like, I don't know about this. But then they find Corey Durden. They sign him to the practice squad, then sign him to the 53. They get Leonard Taylor in there. Eric Gregory winds up having some good snaps. Joshua Farmer winds up having good snaps. And the depth of their defensive line right now, right this second, is one of the biggest strengths of the team. Corey Durden's, his ascendance.
Ascendance, I believe, is when Jesus rises to heaven, which he hasn't done yet.
I got a total of 8.5 hours of sleep over the last 2 nights. So
hell yeah.
Ascendance is going to come out of my mouth. His ascent is really almost unlike anything else we've seen with the Patriots in recent years or the last 10 years, whatever it is. And I talked to him last week and he was like, yeah, my next step, I want to become one of the best defensive linemen in the league. And that sounds insane because he was signed to a practice squad in August
Mhm.
and he was cut by the Giants. But when you watch him, you're like, yeah, I don't know, that kind of checks out. And he was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. The guy's obviously got a ton of talent. He's just finally putting it together at 26. And if he was a free agent right now, based on the season that he's had this year, like that's a guy you are comfortable signing for like $5 million a year. He's been great. So
Mhm. It's
crazy
interesting,
how well they've built up that depth.
especially I think what makes it stand out is you like I don't think Chason had a bad game necessarily,
No,
but he didn't have an impactful game. You basically had
not as
no
much as the last two games. Yeah, he was huge in the last two games. Yeah.
you really didn't have an edge rush to speak of. I mean, Ponder got in there on that first third down, but
Yes.
generally speaking, a lot of the pressure came from the interior guys, which is kind of not the way we think about football these days. Everything's
Hmm.
about the edge guy, the edge guy, the edge guy. So it's one of those things I don't expect as people lay out their plans for Super Bowl 60. Like, watch out for Kairos Tonga. But I think anyone that watched the Patriots this year knows like he could make a couple plays that
Yeah.
change the game. Barmore and Williams remain, and just the usage of it. Like you can keep a guy like Milton Williams fresh. That was the big concern. Like, can
Yeah.
he handle the snap load? They can take him off the field for 4 or 5 snaps and then send it back on. It's definitely, I think you said it, their strength. And it's just kind of crazy because you don't really lay out going to the playoffs like, well, if the D line plays dominant football, the Patriots could win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm looking at the snap counts right now. Milton Williams 41 out of 58 snaps, Barmore 38, Durden 26, Tonga 20, Taylor 16. So like pretty balanced. Obviously, you weight it towards Williams and Barmore, and those guys are going to play more. But when you look at the run defense that they've had this year, there is a huge difference between whether Williams is on the field or not. But that's not to say that when he's off the field in these games, that suddenly they're allowing 9-yard carries.
Mm-hmm.
The guys who are backing him up are doing a just as good of a job in the run defense at least.
As you talk about that, Vrabel said nobody got hurt Sunday.
Spillane.
Spillane got hurt. So we'll see how that matters
He
because
he
he's
stayed on the
significant.
sideline. He was testing it out. I can understand maybe not putting him back out there in snowy, slippery, terrible conditions. And he's got
Yeah.
2 weeks to get healthy now.
Yeah.
And there's certainly a drop off between Spillane and Gibbons,
Mm-hmm.
but it's gotten tighter as the season's gone along. Gibbons has
Gibbons,
elevated his play.
he did have that missed tackle though that allowed
Yeah.
that last field goal attempt. So
Yeah.
something to consider there. And one thing, this isn't to cut the line and do another one, but
Oh boy.
while we're talking D line substitutions, did you notice during the game live? Because it took me until later it was pointed out how Vrabel did the substitution thing right before the
Oh
pick,
yeah.
and it's like
Slow
you
subs.
and so I went back and watched, and it looked like the Broncos were still whichever receiver they took off the field was still jogging off with like 15 on the play clock.
Yeah.
And it's like you've got to be sharper than that because the Rabel's going to use all 12 seconds you give him to do that, at least to the rush snap. Mims didn't get a good jump, and Gonzalez is playing receiver more than Mims is. It's just like that's twice now in these playoffs. Rabel used that to his advantage.
It's inexcusable to allow that to happen after it happened earlier in the playoffs.
Right. And
If
it's
you're
your
Sean
Sean
Payton,
Payton.
or if you're, do you know who his guy is? His stretch, his Ernie.
Oh, wait, I do know this. Give me like a small hint.
Um,
It's not Evan
It-
Rothstein.
it is. I
Oh,
was
okay.
gonna say.
Okay.
I was gonna try to give a Patricia hint, but
Yeah,
I
no.
didn't know how to
We
weave that in.
did do Rothstein chat last week.
This is not an Evan Rothstein podcast.
It could be.
It
It's
might
twice in
be.
a week. But yeah, no, like, and this is a separate. If we're full of thoughts, I find it uncouth when the head coach is calling plays all the time. I don't.
Oh.
It's just I know a lot of coaches do it. Just like be a head coach, be the boss. No one wants to see you if you're the owner of the restaurant. No one wants to see you cooking the food. You got to go out. You got a glad hand. You got to do the macro things when you're in there. Blah 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 blah. It's uncouth. It's almost embarrassing. I think if you're a head coach calling plays, you should reevaluate.
Well, I don't know. Sean McVay has done a pretty good job at
There's a
it.
ton of them that are
Andy
doing
Reid.
it.
Yeah.
Just enough. Enough is enough. Just coach the team. Call timeout.
Yeah. All right,
Vrabel,
that's
by
fair.
the way, I did mention to you after the podcast, his timeout when May scrambled before halftime.
Mm.
If you could like do a PFF grade on coaches calling timeout, Vrabel is by far the league leader this year with like the
Yeah.
yards traveled, the timing of the tee,
Yeah.
tapping
Yeah.
the
Oh,
he
that was
tapped the official
crazy.
the other game.
Yeah.
He is an elite timeout caller.
I think I said this on the podcast about the backwards pass, but I think that Vrabel's size and stature also just helps in those situations because like if that's, I don't know who's the best example. If that's Mike McDaniel, the
Or how
refs might
about
just be like, no, there was no time left. But if it's Vrabel, you're kind of like, yeah, no, you got a second, or
it's
like when he's screaming at you about Stidham throwing the ball backwards, you're gonna be like, I don't know, maybe we should take a second look at this. Maybe we should like huddle and figure this out. You know?
it is the Starbucks corollary, as I call it, when you go back to his Diana Rossini interview from
Oh yeah,
preseason, where he's like,
yes,
I will confront people for
yeah,
parking in handicap spaces at
yeah,
Starbucks. And I bet those people stop parking in those spots
right.
because he's a scary man. It brings me back. I remember when he was at Gillette with the Titans. There's a famous, I think it's gone viral. What did he do with the challenge flag? Did he spike it? Or
Oh
he did something pretty hilarious with it. And
yeah,
so he's always been, sort of a high level in-game coach.
yeah. By the way, the Stidham backwards pass. Broncos fans have convinced themselves that somehow Stidham threw the ball forward and then Christian Ellis knocked it backwards.
I think he hit his wrist and hand during the
Yeah.
throwing process.
We've got Mike Giardi in the studio for a second there. I think
Come aboard, Mike.
I think he was trying to enter the Pats interference pod.
Well,
They got to get a different link.
no, I would just Giardi can join. I like, I don't know how our graphics.
Should we get Andrew and Giardi in here? Shove them all in here?
I don't think we can actually fit any guests. We've never had like I don't
either.
We'd have to share like a little side of the screen. All right, it's your turn for a leftover thought.
Okay, my leftover thought is that Will Campbell got unfairly maligned for his whiffed cut block because for the rest of the game he was fine. And that's going up against a very good edge rusher in Nick Bonito. I will say, I guess this wasn't the case for the I think maybe rushing off the edge in those adverse conditions in the second half made things a little bit easier for tackles. And I would also say that obviously no one was really throwing the ball that much in the second half. So that made things easier on tackles. So I'm not ready to say like Will Campbell is back. Will Campbell is going to have no problem facing off against 4 very good edge rushers against the Seahawks. But Campbell got a lot of criticism for his performances against the Chargers and against the Texans. So I think that when he does play better, which he did in the game against the Broncos, we also have to acknowledge it. And Nick Bonito, despite his kitty cat ear hat that you loved so much after the game, and despite him saying that he was upset because he thought the Broncos were the better team and that they deserved to win, despite all of those things, he's a very good football player. He's been fantastic this year. He's a second-team All-Pro, whatever. And Will Campbell did a good job against him.
I would agree. I had an offensive line thought, so I will tack on with this. I think we can keep Will Campbell at tackle.
All right.
If he goes out, you mentioned there were some mitigating factors that probably made the pass rush more difficult. If he can go out on the road in Denver, play left tackle against a team that led the league with 68 sacks this year and not give up a sack, I think he can play left tackle in the NFL. Can we not do any more guard talk, please?
I think that's fair. Yeah, because I'm also thinking he's probably going to improve over the next
This
year.
is not his peak. I think you're right. But yeah, he definitely should not have gone for the cut block when Benito's out in like the wide 9 and you just barely slow him down with a face mask to the thigh. One bad snap. On the other side, Morgan Moses, one bad snap. Jared Wilson giving up interior pressure on what should have been a touchdown to Ramondre Stevenson. Definitely one bad snap. I think my note, I don't think we've mentioned Mike Onwenu all playoffs.
Yeah.
Not a once. Like what a rock and what a reliable, and Garrett Bradbury I think has been solid.
Yep.
Maybe there's probably a few blips in there, but for the most part, like you've had such a good, and you just focus so much on the tackle play. No one has talked about Mike Onwenu. Like, I don't know what his PFF grade, but I bet it doesn't matter because they love giving him 100s all the time. But he's been really good. And rewatching that game, there were 5 sacks. most of them, if not all of them. The Morgan Moses one was on him.
Mm-hmm.
I think the rest were all coverage sacks.
Yeah.
So not really. I mean, it was a heck of a game by the O-line across the board, aside, one snap apiece, except for Onwenu and Bradbury.
Yeah, Onwenu was...
Wait. I have a Bradbury criticism, and it was the direct snap to Stevenson. The hell was that?
Oh, yeah, that was rough.
Rocket launcher back there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so pretty impressive, considering we've seen an AFC Championship game blow up there 10 years ago.
Does that fall into the too cute category, the direct snap to Stevenson?
I do think so. When you're pounding it as well as you are, I don't think that's the moment for it. I know we've seen such success with the fake snap over the head, but maybe we took for granted that Brady and Falk and Brady and White were that good at it. But it didn't feel like the right moment when you're on the 2. And Stevenson, I think the play before was from like the 8, and he got held up sort of near the line of scrimmage, and then all of a sudden he's falling down at the 2. Yeah. Like, he's driving, he's pounding, you're running the ball well. I would keep that maybe against in a different situation.
But yeah, Michael Onwenu did not allow a single pressure in the game. PFF gave him so this is where I don't totally understand PFF, despite the fact that I worked there. So pass blocking grade for Michael Onwenu, 81.6. High, right? That's good.
That's a great PFF grade.
Run block grade, 41.1.
And they ran a lot more than they passed.
So that's low, 41.1.
Yeah.
That's in the orangish red. But so 81.6, 41.1. Overall grade, 47.9. So he had 29 pass block snaps, 35 run block snaps. And that's just one of those things where, like, they have their system. And I'm sure that on a lot of pass block snaps, he probably just like got like a neutral grade. Like, if you just kind of like do your job or whatever, you get a neutral grade. So there's probably not that many where he gets like a +1 or a +2 or whatever. And then on run blocking snaps, he probably got a lot more like individual grades on each one of those. But it's, you kind of have to tweak your system when 81.1 and 41, the middle ground of that somehow equals 47,
Yeah.
Like, it's got to come closer to 60 or 70.
What is there? 21 passes. I don't know how many times May scrambled, and there's 5.
Well, no, it was 35 run block snaps, 29 pass block snaps.
Yeah, so it should be closer. You're right.
Yeah.
You're better at math than I might be. So shout out to you.
It's my PFF background. I'm just dealing in the numbers. But no, I mean, overall, he was great. Garrett Bradbury, just been a fantastic story all year. Like, the guy gets cut by the Vikings. Listen, Patriots fans had every right to be very mad about the idea of replacing David Andrews with a guy who was cut by the Vikings. But it's worked out really well. And I have no idea what David Andrews would have looked like on this offensive line, but maybe just as good if he stayed healthy, whatever. But like, Bradbury, that signing has still allowed them to go 17-3 at this point. So it worked out very well.
I had just to put a bow on our O-line conversation. I had a note at the end of my O-line. It says Twitter literacy. And I think it's because I tweeted the video of Will Campbell's failed cut block during the game and was saying like this was bad. Yeah. And I know people use Twitter, X, the everything app, differently. But like generally like stuff like that during a game, it's I
do my taxes with it.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Just tweet out your social while you're at it. Stuff like that, like from like my perspective, it's like, well, this is something locally focused that the broadcast didn't talk about. So here is just a little focus on it. It's like a during the game supplement. That's how I've always used X, the everything app. But like, I also had like Gonzalez getting beaten on third down, and it was a bad pass. And it's just like people come on like Tuesday morning being like, oh yeah, now do the interception. And it's like, this was not a column. This was a play.
See, that's an unfortunate thing about Twitter now, is that it used to be in the moment and it's not anymore.
There's a timestamp on the tweet though. It's like Sunday at 4:10 p.m.
No, I'm not blaming you, because a couple of weeks ago in game, I said, Trevion Henderson is a boomer bust player and there's been too many busts lately. And a day later, people are just like, what the hell? It's like, that was in the third quarter when he had gotten his like 5th straight no gain. Like, can we can we look at the timestamp? Can we realize that this was a thought in the moment and not an overarching season-long thought on Trevion Henderson?
Now do this.
Yeah.
Now do this. You run your Twitter account and I'll run mine. Don't now do this me. So that was just a follow up on Twitter literacy. I think let it be a PSA to all.
Quick thought on Ramondre Stevenson for my next one. Maybe the best performance by a running back who averaged less than 3 yards per carry.
What was it? 73 yards on 25 carries?
71 on 25, 2.8 yards per carry.
Great performance.
On paper, a Marion Butts-esque performance by Ramondre Stevenson. But like, there's no complaints. When the other team knows that you are running the ball on almost every snap and you're still able to kill a clock and you're still able to march down the field and do everything that you need to do. And I thought one very illuminating thing that came out of this game is that Patriots are playing against one of the best defenses in the league. The weather is adverse. You're probably not going to be throwing the ball a lot. You need every single play you can get. And Ramondre Stevenson plays 60 snaps and Trevion Henderson plays 4. I think that tells you what level of trust and respect the Patriots have for Ramondre Stevenson. And that's not to say that they have a level of distrust or disrespect for Trevion Henderson. But when you're going in that game and you can't turn the ball over and everything has to be a gain and not a loss or a no gain, you're going to lean on Ramondre Stevenson. I'm curious how this looks against the Seahawks because obviously you take a big play threat off the field in doing so, but it worked.
I do want to add, because Henderson looked so slow and scared to fumble last week against Houston.
Yeah.
At least when he got the ball, he ran hard.
Right.
Those few instances. But I think for Stevenson's point, you had that drive coming at half. This was a game. I've said it before. You scored 10 points. 3 of those points came when you got the ball at the 6.
Yeah.
So you had one scoring drive all day. And it started with a pass to Stephon Diggs for 5 yards. Stevenson got the next carry for 2 yards. It's 3rd and 3. You remember that carry? He got hit behind the line.
Yeah.
Kind of lunged and landed right at the line. Got it. So it was a 2-yard carry, a 3-yard carry, a 1-yard carry. The next one he breaks for 12. They give him a blow. Henderson gets 4, then loses 3. Yeah. Then May had the big scramble.
Yeah.
You go back to Stevenson, and then he ends up getting you 5 yards down at the 7, gets you to the goal line. If you didn't do the direct snap, he probably gets you the touchdown.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's when they got the 3. I flipped my 3 and 7. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was your only scoring drive that you had to move the ball. 7 came when you turned it over to 5. But I just think that drive probably not going to win you a ton of games, but it won you this game.
Yeah.
And I think that's significant.
Yeah, and when it's RJ Harvey and McLaughlin and whatever on the other side of the ball, and you've got Ramondre Stevenson, and I don't know, it's a fascinating team overall because outside of Drake May and Christian Gonzalez and Stephon Diggs, it's not like big names. It's not guys that people around the country can't wait to watch on Sunday. But they do their job. And by the way, Stephon Diggs, 5 catch, 6 target, 17-yard line, also hilarious.
Yeah, so he was one of my points. I might as well bring it up now.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs leads the team in receptions this postseason, but it was kind of a futile effort the other day. Are you surprised that he hasn't done a ton? He has 11 catches, 73 yards. He did have the touchdown against Houston, which was significant. But I think a lot of people, like that game in Buffalo he had in week 5,
yeah,
I think represented what a lot of people expected from him in big moments.
Yeah.
You haven't quite gotten, you haven't got anything like that in a while. And certainly the playoffs, I don't think he's gotten too much attention. Like Surtain spent a lot of time on Booty.
There were some games that he was getting doubled. I think it might have been Chargers, maybe against the Texans too. Like, I do think he's getting attention, maybe not from like their best players, but I think that like teams do focus on him. I am a little bit surprised, but yeah. I think the bigger pleasant surprise is that he's not creating an issue about it, obviously.
Sure. Yeah. So 5 targets against the Chargers, 2 catches for 16 yards.
Yeah.
Had 4 for 40 in the touchdown against Houston, which is like in this offense, pretty high to get double-digit reception yards these days. Usually it's like you get 1 catch and that's it. But yeah, 5 for 17. Just they used him almost like a running back.
Yeah.
All these little and hoping he broke free, but he never broke free. So he did have 100 yards against the Jets late in the season. So it's not like it's been forever. And that was after he had 9 for 138 against Baltimore. So like
Yeah.
still in there. I don't know if he was saving it for the Super Bowl, but he definitely hasn't been that primetime player in the postseason.
This is a leftover thought, not about the game, but have you seen the 1979 film The Warriors?
Never actually seen it. One of those ones where it's like I should see that. From what I understand, though, Mac Hollins is a member of the gang that loses the fight.
Well, yeah. See, I don't mind that. Like it
It's a
doesn't
cool.
need
It's
to.
a cool quote.
It's a cool quote. It doesn't need to be film accurate. I have seen that movie though multiple times. I think that Bill Simmons used to reference it a lot in his columns in the early aughts, and I guess I probably wasn't reading him in the late 90s, but
No,
maybe I was. I don't know.
I had a
But I've seen that
concern
movie multiple times. It's a great movie. I think you should watch it.
someday.
It's definitely like a independent style, not a whole lot of action, but good movie.
I am against my own desires and wills. I'm the be careful dad. Like whenever one of my kids is doing, I'm always saying be careful. I'm always it's
Mm,
like, dude,
yeah,
relax. Their kid, like it's a kid's gonna be a
right.
kid. Relax. Stop saying be careful. So I recognize that about myself. But if I have a receiver who's pretty important coming off IR, clanging glass on his fingers a lot, like before the game, I'm sure he's in control. He's
Right.
post game when adrenaline's
Mm.
pumping, you get one little. Now, this comes from someone who accidentally smashed a glass container of pasta on the counter and then it fell on my foot, sliced my tendon, had to have
Yeah,
surgery.
usually that doesn't happen. Yeah.
Usually it doesn't, but glass is dangerous. You would agree.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
I don't know. He's clanging bottles on the field in full uniform. That's a good way to slice up those fingies.
I could
And
ask him this
a
question the
wide
next time I talk to
receiver,
him.
your fingers are your bank account. So you be careful there.
Do you think they were on the bench? Do you think he had to go to the do you think he sent an equipment guy to the locker room to get them for him so he could have them on the field after the game?
So normally, right, most normal people, I'd be like, there's no way you could like have a plan for that and process it. Mac
Yeah.
Hollins is the least normal person I think we've ever seen. So I'm sure he had a detailed plan. I bet they were in a little box and he had them ready because
Yeah.
most people can't multitask like that. I don't think it's a
Yeah.
problem for him.
No, it's true. I mean, do you follow him on Instagram?
I don't, but usually like everything he does ends up coming across my
Well,
feed
there's
in
a
some
lot
way.
because it's Mac Tax, but then it's also Mac Canic, and it's also like the history stuff too.
Yeah,
So
no, I don't.
he's doing a lot every week.
I don't follow, not because I like
Yeah.
I just don't follow, but I end up seeing a ton of it. So I understand what's going on. But yeah,
Yeah.
he's an interesting fellow. I'm trying to think his performance. He had the two biggest catches of the game, so
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Despite the
And
risk of glass
abdominal
smash.
injury, which is like usually some sort of like
I can
core
relate, bro.
muscle
Yeah.
injury. You're dealing with it right now. Who
Hmm.
knows? After I shovel, maybe I will too. But kind of one of those things where it was interesting because we were wrong. We thought that he wasn't going to play after he didn't practice on Wednesday, but maybe just one of those things where it's like, I don't know, you can play through it. You
Yeah.
just might not be as good. So maybe you just sort of limit the practice to when you absolutely need to be out there
Yeah.
and then just let it fly for game day.
It's a thought I've had whenever I have any sort of ailment. I always get real thoughtful and
Mm,
introspective. And I'm like, man, say you're Mac Hollins. Like he's what, 6'4",
yeah.
jacked,
Yeah.
no body fat, like
Yeah.
super ripped. And it's like you could live that life without running into linebackers and safeties trying to kill you for a living. And it's like it's pretty impressive that you can have like this nice bodybuilder life, but
Mm,
you choose to just damage that body that you've built
yeah.
because it's fun to play football and you get
Yeah.
paid very well for it. So interesting. My next thought, would you like me to go like sort of positive or negative? Not about
How many
just
more do you have, by the way?
like 4 real ones.
Okay. Well,
We can go rapid fire.
yeah, you might have to go rapid fire because I'm kind of out of
All right.
the
This one's real
I
quick.
just didn't get enough sleep. So yeah.
This one's real quick. Unsung play on the rewatch. Everyone talks about Peyton going for it. Marcus Jones's play to stop Stidham a yard shy of the
Yeah.
sticks on 3rd down. He busted ass to the middle of the field and run support, saw that Stidham was breaking out, pirouetted. The grass in between the hash marks was gone. I mean, you're
Mhm.
just on dirt. A lesser man would have fell. He kept his feet with the hand down, spun, and then raced to the sticks, beat Stidham. Without that, it's 1st down. Huge play.
Real quick thought. Stidham hasn't played a lot, as we've mentioned many times. maybe this is related to that, but not the greatest field awareness from Jarrett Stidham.
He
And I think
loved
that genuinely is like you have not played enough football in the last 6 seasons. So you're just like, that's one of those things that might not just come naturally to you anymore. But yeah, it seemed like there were multiple times where it was like, oh, if he had just gotten like one more yard, if he had not lost a yard there, if he hadn't done this or that or
How
that.
about I've never seen a quarterback drop as far back as
Well,
he did.
yeah.
So many times he'd drop, he'd drift,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden he's like 18 yards behind the line of scrimmage. It's like you will never complete a pass from there, young man.
Yeah.
So there was
Especially when you're off your back foot then at that point.
just not a good game. And he was actually, when I said, do you want me to go positive or negative? Positive was Marcus Jones. Negative was Stidham had some awful throws. He's getting, the screen that he missed is early in the game is getting a lot of Twitter play.
Yeah.
But before the pick, I didn't even notice this live. I don't know how, but he wanted to go deep to Mims, and you could see he was covered, but it was better than when he ended up throwing. And he just holstered it, like he kind of holstered it, and then did the 2-hand shove to the running back. And it was like, did you not learn earlier that you shouldn't do the little 2-hand shove pass? So yeah, Stidham, really bad. Not to trash on him, but more so the people that talked him up like he was going to be a legitimate threat. They all should be running laps in front of all of us. Like I just, though I did text you, Jordan Palmer was technically right. Like Drake May and Jarrett Stidham's peak on Sunday wasn't that different, I guess.
That's very true.
So shout out to him.
I'll give you a little bit of insight into what I said immediately before the game. I turned to Andrew and said, I just want to get this thought out right now.
Okay.
I said, I feel like by the end of this game, we're going to look back on all of the Jarrett Stidham avatars as being very silly.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately, Andrew shoved it in my face, nearly killed a crow and made me eat it on the spot after the 52-yard pass
it's a nice
to
ball.
Mims.
It was a nice ball.
But by the end of the game, honestly, like the Jarrett Stidham avatars from every Broncos fan now in retrospect look a little bit like the Texans Letterman jackets.
A little bit. But you've got to
got to rally around it somehow.
Yeah. I don't necessarily mind that. And also defensively, it seemed like the strategy, because Gonzalez got beat on it, which I want to talk about next. There was a 3rd down conversion where Stidham rolled right, and Marcus Jones should have been in coverage, but was locked in on the quarterback. Whoever it was, Ingram, whoever ran behind him got open. The strategy defensively seemed to be largely ignore the pass catchers and just watch the quarterback and try to jump it and beat it. Right. And early it was costing them. Like he was looking pretty good early, but ultimately over a 60-minute span, that proved to be a winning strategy.
Just so like it is a little bit unfortunate, and I feel a little bit bad for Stidham because he showed obviously a serious lack of poise in that game. But I also feel like if that game was not snowy, if it was not as bad of conditions, maybe the Broncos probably still lose, but maybe Stidham throws for 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, like 200 something yards, like maybe gets a starting opportunity down the road out of it. But coming out of that game, that just like all that hype just immediately went away.
Yeah, he did have 3 quarters though to try to have an impact. He had a good first quarter.
He did, yeah.
And then that was that. I did go back and look because people were getting mad at me for saying Christian Gonzalez gave up a touchdown. He did. I do think they were playing quarters. So he was technically, the deep 4th, where I think Woodson was the safety that would have had the next 4th. But Woodson was he was so focused on the receiver coming ahead of him that you could see what that route up the seam basically split the quarters coverage.
Right.
But Gonzalez, like that's the deep guy.
Yeah.
And so whether he's on the hash or whether he's closer to the numbers, it's still Gonzalez's guy.
Right.
He got beat. Like he got beat. It's okay.
Yeah, and I think he was like
cornerback. He got beat.
Yeah, and he's had a great postseason. So it was one play. It is what it is. Guys, I think Derek Stingley got beat for a touchdown by.
I just think like this sort of protection formed on the internet. Like he was expecting safety help, and it's like it wasn't like he was expecting cover 2 safety help over the top. It was
right. It wasn't like he was supposed to play like a shallow flat.
Exactly. Like it wasn't like Woodson should have been there. Like maybe Woodson should have been more concerned about the streak that was splitting the quarters coverage than he was the receiver in front of him. But still, Gonzalez, he got beat. He was he thought it was going to be a shorter route, right? Like, which is fine strategy, like we said, but he got beat on that one.
Yeah.
So that's I had I can rapid fire still because I know you want to
Mhm.
get out of here. But the
No, I don't
people,
need to get out of here. I'm
the
good.
people demand more Pats chat.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
I mentioned Marcus Jones' play, setting up the 4th down call. Did you read your pal Seth Wickersham's story on the 4th down call?
Yes. So I
Great
also
story.
I don't think people saw this. This might be a Pat's Chat exclusive right now.
Exclusive. Doo-doo-doo, boo, boo, boo. That's
Okay.
that. 55
So
minutes. Doug breaks news.
Ben DiNucci, he was the Broncos practice squad quarterback in this game, right?
You're asking me, Doug.
Let me just confirm this first of all. Doug's got to do like a little bit of research right now.
I got
So
the roster up.
Ben DiNucci
Ooh, I got to add this one. Go ahead.
was the Broncos practice squad quarterback. So he signed on January 18th, 2026. Previously, he was cut in August. I think he was doing like TV before he was signed to the Broncos practice squad. So, not a guy who had been really heavily in the league prior to doing this. And I was about to tweet this out, but I felt bad, but I don't feel as bad now doing it on a podcast. So, Ben DiNucci on the field. He tweeted on Monday, yesterday, after the game, about the 4th and 1. For what it's worth, we were expecting man coverage, so called a man beating play. New England didn't play man coverage. Points are at a premium in NFL, let alone playoffs. Not a thing a current player usually tweets. This is more, it feels like this is Ben DiNucci being like, I'm a media member, so I'm going to tweet this out. But, and that's similar to what came out in Seth Wickersham's article of the Broncos were expecting the Patriots to be in man. They weren't, and it blew up in their face. But yeah, I don't know. I happened to see that. I screenshot it when it had 1 retweet and 5 likes, and then it went away. Ben DiNucci deleted it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't be, I mean, even if it's reported in the media, you probably just want to keep that one in the pocket.
And I think that was before it was in Wickersham's article, too, because that came out afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This one came out January 26th, which was yesterday morning. So, yeah, I just thought the funniest part of Seth Wickersham's article was apparently, I assume he was there. I don't know how you never know how Seth Wickersham gets his stuff, but he paints the picture of Sean Payton watching the Bears game last week.
Right. Yeah.
When they went for it on 4th and 2 and him audibly saying out loud, it says, Payton saw the Bears line up on offense and he squinted. Quote, kick it, he said, which is just so funny. Like, I don't know the background. Like it presented as if Seth Wickersham got to watch Sean Payton watch the Bears game. I don't know. But either way, quite a tidbit if he's watching the game saying kick it, and then he goes out and goes for it on 4th down with his backup quarterback and calls a pass after calling timeout after they had a run play called.
Yeah.
Yikes. Funny stuff.
No, absolutely. I don't know that. I don't know.
All right.
I don't hate the fact that they went for it, but
I do.
The play call obviously blew up in their face. But it's not like they were probably going to pick that up running the ball either.
Well, just think about it like this. Their best receiver is Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
Against Christian Gonzalez, you're not going to love that matchup, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where do you go from there? Like Troy Franklin's out. Who Evan Ingram, you can't really pass it. I don't think you can pass it. Your running back's not a game changer in RJ Harvey. You don't have the personnel, I think, to go for it on 4th and 1.
We have not talked about Prize Picks yet. This was a
bonus episode, so our timing was thrown off.
That is true. But this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. And whether you're starting a new routine or making player picks the first time, trying something new can be hard, but in life and on Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure playoff matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never stops, and Prize Picks lets you take control. If you do download the Prize Picks app today, you can use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. I haven't loaded up the Prize Picks app yet. We'll discuss this quickly. I don't know how much is going to be out there yet for the Super Bowl. What do you think?
I would think you got to wait. It's going to be a lot.
There's some.
All All right, let's do our early ones. This is unofficial, but we'll do an unofficial one.
Okay, so anything you're feeling in this? Drake May 222 and a half passing yards. Ooh, Drake May 0.5 passing touchdowns. We taking more?
Yeah, live a little.
You gotta live a
He's
little.
gonna throw a touchdown.
Jackson Smith and Jigba 92 and a half receiving yards. That seems pretty high. You think more?
The guy's unbelievable. He had 150 yards the other day.
I know, but what if he's covered by Christian Gonzalez?
I think, and this isn't just him. Just watching certain clips from the Seahawks, their route running is on another level. Like they don't they don't run an out. They run a post out. You know, their top of their route is a fake one where like they're gonna fake a route and then get wide ass open.
Yeah.
They're so hard to cover.
You know what I like more? Okay, so Cooper Kupp, his receiving yards is 31 and a half. His receptions is 1.5. I think Kupp's catching some passes.
I'm with you.
All
I'm
right.
with you.
We got Kupp. We got 2 number 10s so far. We got
Drake May.
We got Drake and Kupp.
I would take a
Drake May 36 and a half rushing yards.
tough one because that's 2 plays, but
I know.
he has been leaning on it 2 out of 3 playoff games. So maybe that's a more than.
Ramondre 51 and a half rushing yards.
I like him to score a touchdown.
Okay, let's see here.
He's obviously going to get.
What about okay? So rushing and receiving 0.5. How about that?
Yeah.
All right.
That's a fine one. Let's. This is a preliminary.
I love how tackle assists are on here.
I don't know how that's
made. Oh, what about punts?
Does it have a quality option? Because.
Whoa! Oh man! All right. Drake May interceptions is 1.5, but you can't take less.
Yeah, no, we're not. That's crazy.
Sam Darnold 0.5 interceptions.
Kind of like that one. Yeah, let's do that. Round it off with that one.
Hold on, I still got to find punts real quick.
I don't think we need punts.
Sacks taken 3.5 by Drake May.
Realistically, he takes a lot.
I know.
5 per game this postseason.
Yeah. What? Oh, cannot combine these projections. Okay, I'm still looking for punts. Okay, punts 4 for Behringer.
It's hard after an 8 punt performance to assume they'll punt fewer
punts
than 4
inside
times.
The 20, 1.5.
Less than.
Really? Wow.
I'm down on Bryce.
All right. Well, we've got 4. We got Kupp more than 1.5 receptions. May more than half a passing touchdown. Ramondre more than 0.5 rushing and receiving touchdowns, and Darnold more than half an interception. All right, that's good. I think we really helped people out with that.
I think we nailed. I think the Super Bowl, there's gonna be 2 weeks of media coverage and national shows.
We're gonna have like 10 prize picks lineups by the time the Super Bowl rolls.
I think we just took care of Super Bowl prep, so you're welcome. Don't have to watch anything else. I have
the rest of your takeaways.
Just real quick, we're running out, so we're on the home stretch. I know you were working. You weren't able to tune into the NFC Championship game like you'd like to. Have you caught up on the controversy that Bills fans largely have started that Cooper Kupp didn't catch the ball before extending for the yard to gain? I feel, Doug, I feel like I'm on hallucinogens.
I have something to say about this too. Yes,
I feel like I'm on hallucinogenic drugs and everyone's messing with me.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'm on the verge of freaking out. He caught the ball. Both feet hit the ground. A third foot hit the ground. A fourth foot, I believe, hit the ground. And then he extended the ball forward. He satisfied A, B, C. All in one motion. Hits the ground. The ball comes out. If you can't understand that, I don't like, we're not watching the same sport.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So Bills fans, unfortunately, have themselves in such a coping mindset that unfortunately at some point I think they're going to start being accused of lacking ball knowledge because maybe they're being intentionally obtuse, but like they're claiming not to understand like surviving the ground. They think that just like going to the ground, like being tackled is going to the ground rather than like you're catching the ball and falling at the same time. That's what that means. But then you also have, I don't know this person personally, Nate Geary. He's the Buffalo Bills pregame, halftime, and postgame show host on WGR 550. He's powered by Kalshi Sports. He has a lot of followers. He has been making the argument that punts are turnovers.
What?
So the Bills didn't punt when they played the Broncos, but Josh Allen, I believe, had 4 turnovers. So because the Patriots didn't have any turnovers and because they punted a lot, he is saying that he considers punts as turnovers. He considers punts as bad as turnovers. He has argued with multiple people about this, that why are punts less bad than turnovers? And it's because they're intentional and you flip the field. It's very simple.
Football is a game of strategy. Not just, you don't just run 4 plays and hope you get 10 yards and then move on. Like there's some strategy involved. I don't think we have to address that one, but I appreciate an alternative.
I just want to call attention to it because I've been thinking about it a lot.
I appreciate someone thinking about the world in a way that I hadn't quite imagined, but I just think often, when my friend Schooley and I are watching football, we'll jokingly, there's 2 things. One is got to let him score because that's a great strategy. But the other is if there's any interception, the joke is just as good as a punt because that's become sort of a cliche from color analysts over the years. When you throw it deep on 3rd and long and it's picked off at the 7, well, it's as good as a punt. So those ones, maybe, those are similar. Those are when you can have a punt sort of match an interception. But other than that, I don't think that's a good point.
Do you want to hear about some elite football strategy?
Yes, I would.
So on Saturday night, I went to this arcade bar with Andrew Callahan, Mark Daniels, and Andrew's cousin.
Believe we call those barcades, but carry on.
And they had NFL Blitz. And Andrew's really good at NFL Blitz. He usually smokes everyone. I was leading 14-7, and there was about a minute left in the 4th quarter because those are like 2 or 3 minute quarters. And Andrew had the ball. I don't remember what down it was. I think it might have been first down, like in goal, whatever. And I called a deep zone. I was like, I'm just going to let him score because if I let him score here, then I'll at least still have time to march back down the field and win this game. Otherwise, we're just going to finish in a tie. So I call a deep zone. He scores. He goes for 2. Doesn't get it.
The gambler.
14-13. Then all I got to do is kill a clock. It's not the way I thought it was going to pan out, but it panned out even better than I thought it would.
That is, got to let him score.
Strategy. I let him score.
Smooth.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? Have at it. Now I'll have time to march down the field.
Many a great football mind was forged on the fields of NFL Blitz. So not surprising. Isn't that didn't Mike McDaniel learn all his football from Madden? Like when he was a kid? Isn't that like the story?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. I do have another Bills thought while we're on it. As we wrap things up here, they hired Joe Brady as their head coach.
Yeah.
Did you see, excuse me, you might've missed it. Maybe Friday or Saturday.
You okay? Are you having a heart attack?
I had a seltzer go down the wrong way, but I'm good now. I don't even remember but there was a report. I don't know where it came from or who it originated from, but it was that Josh Allen will be sitting in on the head coach interviews. And Adam Schefter quote tweeted it and said, "As he should." That was really weird. That was a really I don't know. Report the news, reporter. Like Josh Allen absolutely should be in on head coaching interviews, and then they end up hiring his OC.
Right.
I think.
Well, I mean, one of the other candidates was his friend, Davis Webb.
Yeah, I think if you're the Patriots, you got to like the way that process played out there. I think, like the scary one, and not that we know that Daboll is going to be a great head coach. I think the reunion of Daboll and Allen was a real threat, and that's a younger coach that could be there for a long time for Allen's entire career. And instead, they went with Joe Brady, and like maybe Joe Brady is a leader of men.
Right.
I don't know. It just felt like that whole process was backwards.
I found it wild that Dable went to Tennessee. Like there were so many good OC jobs out there, and like that feels, maybe I wind up being looking very stupid about this, but that feels like a huge boost for the Titans all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean they got the #1 pick. We'll see what that is good for.
And I mean,
I mean
didn't
the quarterback being the #1 pick,
right.
obviously. I don't think many of us watched Cam Ward this year, being like,
No,
oh.
no,
So we'll see what
could wind up
can happen
being
there.
good for him because I don't know. I wasn't like that inspired by the Solace signing, but then when you throw in Dable, you're like, oh, that actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, maybe it's been a long time coming. I got one finale for you. I don't know if you have any more football thoughts.
Well, I did have a brief thought on McDaniel with the Chargers. Seems like it has the potential to be a lot of fun. And he just, the whole Chargers social media team where they like don't use capital letters and everything. It just feels like a really perfect match. Like he might just start working for their social media team instead.
That's a good point. He's going to have a little bit more time not being the head coach. Running an offense should be a little bit of a easy step backward for him. So, yeah, I think you're right.
One other brief thought, being someone who's in my mid to late 30s right now, I think it's kind of messed up that there's 30-year-olds who are head coaching candidates. Grant Udinsky, Davis Webb.
Dude, McVay was 30.
I know.
Change the mold.
It's kind of crazy.
I lied. I have two thoughts. One is, and I brought this up because when you mentioned Ben DiNucci, I went to the Broncos website. I have no respect for an NFL team that doesn't own their URL.
Oh.
Broncos.com is not owned by Broncos. Rams.com is not owned by the Rams.
Yeah.
I think it's the Rams.com.
That's hilarious.
The Broncos is DenverBroncos.com. Like, I'm sorry. I know someone's probably extorting you. You've got to pay the fee. Like, you've got to pay. Like, you've got to own.
Money. Especially, come on, now that it's Walmart owned.
It's
Spinquest.com. It really has like they're charging that much for it.
I think if I'm the commissioner of the NFL, I'm going to the owners and I'm like, listen, whatever they're trying to extort you to get this URL, you've got to do it because it looks, I think the Jets.com goes to some Jets website for airplanes. Any team that doesn't own their URL of their team name,
the sky is yours.
It's kind of embarrassing. Like, we've got to be better than that, people. I'm sure there's other ones. I feel like even, let me double check this. This could be big. Let me double check this. I don't want to say it out loud. Correct. Cowboys.com does not go to the Dallas Cowboys website.
Wow.
Like,
how much do you think they're charging for it?
I don't know, but whatever it costs is a drop in the bucket to these people. And it's just a shame.
How much would you take for it if you were the owner of Broncos.com? How much would you take for it?
Let's do Cowboys because that's way more fun money-wise. But you're right with the Walmart.
Well, no, the Walmart, right. Like they're the richest people.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So say I own Broncos.com and I'm like, listen, you guys can have it for $10 million. And they come back and they're like, you're a clown. We'll give you $1 million. It'd be like, done, deal. You got it. Handshake. Yeah. Come on. Like, you didn't do anything to earn it other than outfox.
Truly shocking that a deal is not coming into place for either one of those.
It just must not be a priority, but it should be, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree.
What about, did the Giants own the Giants? Because there's two sports teams in there.
True.
I think it might be the MLB team. Nope, that's the New York Giants. Got Giants.com. Good for them.
Wow, yeah.
That's a good thing for them. I want to do one more.
Yeah.
One more. Eagles.com. Because that's a pretty popular bird. No.
The band.
The band. Shout out to the Eagles. They are foxes when it comes to business, so you're never getting that one.
That's true.
I have one final point, Doug.
Should I go see them in the Sphere?
I actually do
like the Eagles.
Yeah, but it's 2026,
Yeah, I know.
Hell Freezes Over was 28 years ago, whatever it was. Probably 30 years at this point. Last point here for me. Last point for me.
Yeah.
Couple snow days in a row. Not in charge of everything at home. Tangled was on the TV today.
Okay.
A movie I've seen 6,000 times. For anyone that doesn't know, it's the story of Rapunzel.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, might have the biggest plot hole in Disney movie history.
Uh-oh.
Let's say you're Mother Gothel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you kidnap this baby with the magical hair and you keep her in the tower. Wouldn't you tell her birthday is a different day? It's not the day that they all put lanterns in the sky.
That's fair. Yeah.
Just feels like a mistake on Mother Gothel's part. Otherwise, perfect crime. If you're going to kidnap the baby, like, well, I got to be honest, your birthday is April 8th, and that's when all the things fly in the air. It's like, probably, I bet she regrets that one.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, that's sort of like the crux of the film, and they kind of biffed it.
Yeah, they really did. That's true. Good thought.
Thank you.
I don't think I have any thoughts. I don't like snow. That's a thought.
Yeah, I'm pretty more. I should add, because we did Disney
I actually do generally like snow, but not this much snow.
Yeah, I went out and cleared snow probably 6 times. And it's just there's nowhere left to put it. So luckily it looks like the next storm's going to miss us, because like there's no melting going on this week. It's here to stay.
It's like 20 degrees.
I've got giant banks all around my driveway. It hurts.
I was telling Jen, like, don't worry about shoveling. You don't have to go anywhere. Like, just don't worry about it. And she was like trying to be like very nice and trying to help, because she knew I was going to be coming back on no sleep, and kept just being like, please don't shovel. Please don't shovel. But she did FaceTime me at one point and was like, so I'm shoveling, like, where am I supposed to put it?
Right.
I was like, that's a good question, and it's one that we face in this day and age.
Yeah,
I was like, just throw it on the street if you have to.
So I had in my old house a certain snowblower, no free ads, but it's Troy built, great snowblower. And then my dad gave me his, and I just never quite connected with that machine the right way. And it just like I couldn't, like the levers were flipped. I ran into a problem. Like we didn't connect me in that machine.
Yeah.
My wife's coworker was getting rid of a snowblower, and she was like, do you want it? I'm like, yeah, actually. And it was the exact same one that I used to have.
Oh, wow.
And I'll tell you one thing, as much as it sucks, I'm back, baby.
Nice.
Like, I am so confident with that thing. It is a life changer. So as frustrating as the experience was, at least I had my baby back.
I have a electric snowblower because I have kind of a weird driveway. And I had to shovel at 11, 12, whatever, midnight. And I used it for like a one strip, but it was pretty loud to be doing it that late. And we have a baby that lives across the street. It has parents. It's not living alone.
That'd be sick.
But I felt bad and then stopped using it. But I should at some point invest in a better one. But our driveway's so steep that, like, I don't know, using a snowblower going like straight up downhill at a 90-degree angle has never felt that great. I don't know.
You need brakes.
Yeah.
They make them with brakes.
Maybe.
I was jealous. Sunday night, I went out after the Patriots game, and I really was jealous. You ever see the guys who have the snowblower with like the little house?
Oh yeah.
That they're in, and they got like a headlight.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, when do you need that? And I'm out there Sunday night, I'm like, need that real bad.
That, yeah.
That thing was sick. But yeah, it was a tough. It's reminiscent. It's funny. It's all happening. Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl. Like, we got 3 feet of snow around that Super Bowl the Monday before. So the day I went out to Phoenix, and then the night of, right? Like after the Super Bowl, we got hit with another foot. Crazy. I guess it was the Monday. It was the Monday morning after. But kind of funny how we really haven't gotten snow like this in a while, and now we do, and it's 10 years apart. Patriots Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
Pretty wild. Well, we're gonna get out of here. I don't know when our next podcast is gonna be. That's gonna be an off pod discussion. I'm heading out to the Super Bowl on Sunday, as long as the weather is permitting. I'll be there until Monday, and we'll do some pods out there. Wow, a post Super Bowl pod. I don't know. I haven't had to do one of those.
It's going to be difficult. It's going to be tricky, but I believe in us, and I believe we'll take care of ourselves and the Pats Chat fraternity and sorority.
Yeah, so the game's gonna be at what, 3:30 West Coast time. You might have a late night that night if we're gonna do it that night.
I think I can handle it.
I believe in you. You could maybe even take a nap before it.
Probably not. Once I'm out, I'm out. Like, that's it. You can do a solo pod.
A midnight nap. All right. Well, we'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye. Thanks for watching and listening and doing all that fun stuff. Goodbye. Leave a rate and review. And do cool stuff.